I think we are confronting Russia and Ukraine, and we are doing it with the help or helping the Ukrainians rather effectively. I think there will be in Brussels quite a lot of discussions on further sanctions, but I think the absolutely critical thing is to make certain that the supply line that we have with weapons, with ammunitions, with finance, with food and whatever, that is not only continued but intensified. Because what we've seen during this month is that the Ukrainians have been far more effective in countering the Russian aggression than anyone, including Washington and Moscow, thought. But they are dependent upon our support. And after an initial batch of help of different sorts, I mean, there's always a risk of attention slackening and one discussing other issues. So I would hope that around the different tables in Brussels, the NATO one, the EU one, the G7 one, that the different countries will be able to pledge further deliveries of different sorts directly to the Ukrainians. They are the ones that are going to decide this battle.
And of course, we will see President Biden meeting with NATO and EU officials. What do you think can realistically be achieved, and how important is this trip for him optically?
I think optically and substantially it is very important, because what we have seen, and that is the good news in this horrendously tragic situation that we are facing, is of course that the West, if you use that phrase, has come together in a rather impressive way. I mean, the EU, there are of course nuances on oil sanctions and things like that, and the transatlantic and the G7, Japan, to take one example, have been amazingly united and have been amazingly united around measures that have done far more than most people expected. So I think they will reinforce that, and hopefully they will be able and willing to take further measures, particularly when it comes to supporting and supplying Ukraine, sanctions on top of that.
Carl, it's Hadley. I'm in Brussels. I was alongside the NATO meeting. I just want to get a sense from you of how you expect the announcement to go today, frankly, of potentially more sanctions, because at the end of the day, I hear from the Ukrainians again and again that they're unhappy with the levels of support that they've received. They understand that, of course, they're not NATO members, but they do expect more from Western leaders.
Well, they certainly expect sanctions, but I think even they recognize that sanctions is something that doesn't work short term. Sanctions do have a significant medium and long-term effect on the Russian economy, no question about that. But what they need is more immediate support. And they want military support because this is going to be decided by their ability to defend Kiev, defend Odessa, repel the aggressors. And that is going to be dependent upon them having a supply line of weapons, of ammunition, of food, of all of the equipment that their army needs. And they are in full combat, so they need resupply. And that is what the nations of the West should be able to step up their efforts on.